Alright guys, welcome back to the GSL cross match. Actually, I just said GSL for some reason.
It's actually WCS qualifiers, but yeah, I can certainly understand why you just said that. It's just every time we sit in the studio and sit in our small stage here, it's just becoming natural. Guys, okay, what we're going to do right now, we have a game coming up in about 5 minutes, and well, there's always going to be a little bit of downtime between the games because, of course, the Koreans, they have to check out who is currently playing, which kind of game we can jump into. And what we're going to do from this point on to give you at least something to talk about and to entertain you guys a little bit. We do a little bit of an AMA, so ask me anything, and you can tweet the questions that you want to ask us at Calder and at ProxyWolf between the games when we are waiting for the next match to be set up in downtime. You can ask us everything concerning...
You can ask us like together, you can ask us separately, you can, you know, we have what you want to say.
Yeah, we have our equipment here, we have our tablets, we'll browse through the tweets and definitely pick some of the questions and answer them together, or yeah, whatever you want to ask. So we're sorry that there's always a little bit of downtime, but it's not as easy as just jumping into games, and we are not at the venues. The next game is going to be a sick one, and this makes the wait definitely a little bit more enjoyable, I think. It's going to be worth the wait, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be Flash versus Sniper, man.
Oh, yeah.
That is going to be so exciting to watch.
This is going to be really sick, and I hope that you guys will have a lot of fun with the games. Of course, we're just waiting for the matches to start, but yeah. The one thing that we are going to do after this best of 3 while we're waiting for the next one, and maybe if you guys want even now, just send us tweets with questions regarding Korea, the GSL, maybe the WCS here. We will answer everything as good as we can, and yeah, that's basically what we can do in order to make the time between the games a little bit more enjoyable for you. So if there's something that you always wanted to ask us, that you always wanted to know about Korea, we might be able to help you out here.
Yeah, so please ask as many questions as you feel the need to ask, because we want to answer them. Getting some questions. Why don't you or Calder ever do MLGs, DreamHacks, Home Story Cups, etc.? Scheduling is always a conflict.
Well, the thing is, both of us were at DreamHack, and I was at Home Story Cup. And as Wolf already pointed out, it's always a matter of scheduling. It's not only about the GSL, but it's always what you have to take into consideration as well is that we have Code A, which usually starts on a Monday or a Tuesday. So even if we are at an event, we will need to be back in time.
Yeah.
And the way the time differences actually work is that Korea is always ahead of the rest of the world. So it's really hard to get back to Korea just in time. And quite often, for example, when you were casting DreamHack, I mean, you just came back in time.
I got off of a plane from Beijing, and I had not been able to shower. I was not able to shave, and I had to walk right into the studio and sit down in the chair.
Yeah.
And once you guys,
it was actually so funny. You came in here with your luggage and everything, and you looked like shit, and you were like, oh, my flight got delayed, it's horrible, the makeup girls have to make me pretty again. Yeah, it was so cool.
I felt so stressed because I didn't want them to have to touch me or look at me in that vulnerable state. Basically, it's you know, not only the scheduling with GOM, for example, but also we have personal lives as well outside of things, and it's hard to schedule everything. We're both so busy, we work so much, and we commentate so often that things don't always work out. We would love to do as many as we can, but it's a scheduling problem.
Yeah. And with the time zones that I mentioned, every time, for example, you go from Europe to Korea, you lose 7 hours on the way. If you go from the US to Korea, you basically lose about 14 hours, only because of the time difference. That doesn't even include the entire flight. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. If I actually fly from the US to Korea on a Sunday, I will arrive in Korea on a Tuesday.
Yes. Alright, well, we are going to jump into the game. MVPSniper up against KT Rolster's Flash. We're at the Ready Action Cross Match WCS qualifiers. And up here at the top right, our KT player, our Kespa player.
It is Flash. We so need a Street Fighter voice for him.
Well, there will one day be one.
Oh yeah, there will be one, definitely. Well, this is a best of 3, guys, and of course it's not only about Flash, it's about his opponent to the bottom left as well. In the blue, we have the Zerg player for Team MVP. This is...
MVPSniper.
That was so bad. I'm disappointed. I'm sorry for putting you up on the spot here, but you so missed your cue.
I was reading some of the tweets people were sending at me. I messed that up. I'm sorry. I wasn't. My head wasn't in the game there. I apologize.
Guys, we'll continue the AMA after the best of 3 series that we have at hand. So if you have additional questions, you can always send them to @ProxyWolf and @Kaldor. If you want to know anything about Korea, the GSL, casting, commentating, living here, we are happy to answer between during the downtimes. Now we're concentrating a little bit more on the Terran versus Zerg at hand.
And we are going to have a Command Center first from Flash. He has shown only Command Center first so far. Really likes that build. He's known for this in StarCraft 1 as well, doing it so often that people joked about it. He can hold almost anything with the Command Center first. He's got so much experience doing that.
And he just, well, Flash just faced a Terran player. He faced a Terran player who was struggling, sorry, a Protoss player who was struggling a little bit with the matchup against Terran. And one of the things that you also have to keep in mind that Brown, the player who was just defeated, he's currently Code B. And he is not a full-time pro gamer. He's actually at university studying, whereas Flash has been a pro gamer living in a team house for a very long time now. But this is a little bit of a different scenario that we're seeing here, because Sniper might have the worst record against Terran as well. He's actually struggling in the matchup, whereas his ZVZ and his ZVP are really shining. On the other hand, though, he is, I would say, a lot stronger than Brown in general. Brown is a sniper against Zerg, but Sniper is just an all-around good player. He's playing for MVP, and he has shown in the past that he is a great opponent, a very tough opponent, a great player. He defeated opponents like Rain. He defeated Life, for example, both of them in the GSTL Season 2. So Flash certainly has his work cut out for him now.
Yeah, this is not going to be easy. He's starting with Command Center first, and the question is, what will be his follow-up here? He's done with that Command Center, done with the barracks. He's going to make double orbitals as he's doing now. First Marine coming out here. When will he take his gases? Will he just chase the drone away and go with the barracks timing? He's already taken just one gas. Not the second one, though. Well-placed bunker going up here between the ramp and the assimilator, which will allow him to catch any units that come onto the ramp, cover the ramp as well as part of the mineral line, so he can mineral walk his way over to where the bunker is, protect his SCVs there with the bunker, and then also protect his Command Center on the edge as well as the ramp. Plus, it minimizes the surface area of the place where Zerglings can attack, so great choice there of placement.
And what's going to be really cool to see is if Flash is actually just emulating the style that every other Terran player is going to play right now. Because we might just see something different. This is the cool thing about the Broodwell players switching over to StarCraft 2. They might approach these matchups a little bit different. Of course they're going to watch the streams. They are going to watch GSL players perform, and they play against them in the ladder on a daily basis. But they might just have a different approach here, and they might look at a couple of units and might think, okay, well, you know what? This is something that might be underused right now. I could maybe put this to some good use with a different strategy, hit a different timing here, and just do something that the StarCraft players that have been around for a long time don't really expect. Because one of the problems that you always have if you played StarCraft for a long time, you might get into this mindset where you just assume something doesn't work because it didn't in the past.
Yeah, and that's so right. Basically, what part of StarCraft is that you have to have an innovative mind if you want to lead the charge. And we've seen players like Marine King do this, where before Marine King versus Kyrix, so many months ago, nobody was doing the style. But now, it is the standard to use Marines almost purely and split them.
What? You can't split Marines? This is crazy.
It
will never work.
It's just, exactly, it's something that no one would have thought of until it's seen. And some of these players, actually, Kespa players, are more known for being more robotic and less innovative than Golem players. But occasionally, you do see a new strategy develop.
Months ago, the Protoss players were struggling a lot against Roaches, and the general consensus was that Immortals just are not useful at all. Of course, when they received the buff, they were used quite often, but even before the buff, a few Protoss players started to use them because they realized this unit is amazing against Roaches, and I finally have something which I can counter the Mass Roach style of my opponent. And nowadays you see Immortals in every composition against Zerg. So it's just how things shift, how people suddenly have a different grasp on a strategy or on a counter and will use it in a different way. It's just really interesting to observe.
Yeah, you know, for example, the Warp Prism play that has developed recently could have been done. The very few hit points that Blizzard added to the Warp Prism encouraged it more use, and it worked. And it's funny how psychologically that can make a difference, because those few hit points actually affect very few strategies the Warp Prism is used with. Anyway, these Hellions are going to find no drones here. He's forcing the Queens out of position just a little bit. Back at home, he's got a third command center finishing. Stim is halfway done. He's getting 1-1 upgrades. Both players pretty much even in the upgrades. Lair is coming out here as Early Speed finishes.
We have a nice wall in here for Sniper, and against 6 Hellion, this is what you need. He also has a little bit of early detection with the creep tumors that he's currently placing on the map. He's spreading his creep, therefore he will see immediately when the Hellions are moving towards his main base or his natural. And this is so important because he needs one of those Queens to block the gap. How many Zergs have we observed in the past who were ready? They had everything set up, every single chess piece was in position. But as soon as the Hellions try to stream in, they just were a little bit too late, the Queen not in position, and suddenly those Hellions roam the main base, attack the natural, and they lose so many Harvesters. So Sniper here is setting everything in motion that this was not going to happen to him. He's at a very nice drone count now with 70 against, I think this is a 552? That's a 5, isn't it?
Yeah, that's 52.
Yeah, sorry guys, we don't have a computer in-game. We are currently relying on the screen that we have in front of us, so we can't actually like look up everything the way we want. But yeah, it seems to be a 66.
Yeah, what you see is what we see.
Oh, it's a 55. So yeah.
Yep. Well, we see 1-1 finishing. Armory is on the way. He's gonna actually be a little bit too late though, so he's gonna find himself behind in upgrades if the Zerg.
Look at the tech decision here. He goes for Spire. Even though most Zerg players will go for Infestors now against Terran, the Spire, especially on this map, is something that we see quite often. Which is still a little bit funny to me, because it's not necessarily a map where you would expect Mutalisk play, just because of how the layout of the bases work. But a lot of players, as this is a very small map, seem to be very, very confident in their ability to control the Mutalisks well. But they can be trapped. The main base is a place where you don't really want to be caught off guard with the Mutalisk, because as soon as you are trapped, you will lose quite a lot of them. You might be forced into a position where you have to fly over your opponent's Marines. And wow, Sniper is going to connect here.
Yeah, he is. The Marines having to run back into those medevacs. He took out so much creep, though, with those scans. And, you know, most people are not willing to scan so aggressively. I remember the first time I played Terran with Artosis. He was watching me, and he said, "You scan like a Brood War player." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right, because in Brood War you have so many scanners, and it doesn't cost me anything to do that. In this game, it costs money." I used to play Terran in StarCraft 1, so seeing this type of just constant scanning feels normal if you played Terran in StarCraft 1, but in StarCraft 2, you know, normally when you scan, you have to really think about how much money you lose when you do that. It's not money that you lose, but money you're going to have slower as a result. But Flash, he does not hesitate with those scans. Went in there, took out so much creep. You can see, if you just look at the minimap, you can see a huge hole in where the creep spread would have been if he had not attacked that area.
This is definitely Flash being pinned up against a very different opponent from Brown. He knows exactly what he has to do in this matchup. He already built additional creep tumors. He wants to spread the creep even further. The Banshee has been shut down, and Sniper is not falling. Oh, losing a Needles here, but he's not falling for the trap that we see so often, or for this one mistake that you can make where you don't have any kind of transition ready. Now, he's going straight for the Infestation Pit. He can go to Hive, he can go at those Infestors, but for now, he's sticking with the Baneling, Zergling, and Mutalisk composition.
Yeah, and this seems to be the composition that is becoming more popular recently. Here we go, Stimming running away. The tanks were on siege for Flash, so he's going to lose all of them. Not the best Baneling hits for Sniper, but he may just have too much. Flash pulling back here, splitting his Marines decently, but a better engagement for sure for Sniper, taking a huge supply lead, and the attack continues.
It's a great position for him to be in. He moves in, he tries to break this wall in, and the supply depots, they are gone. The Zerglings move in, the Mutalisk as well, but the reinforcements are on their way, and Sniper decides that it's time to retreat. He has already done a lot of damage, and this will enable him to get another base. He's already established his 4th. He can build a 5th if he wants, but he decides to just drone up completely, goes to Hive. All this tech, everything that he does right now was just enabled by this nice attack and by the damage that he's dealt. He knows exactly that Flash is in no position to move out.
Yeah, you're right in that regard. I think that Flash is going to have to turtle here quite heavily. His upgrades are going to be good. He's got 3-3 on the way here. But he can't move out until he's maxed, essentially, because any move out he makes will be too risky. Hive is done, essentially. It's about 90% done right now. You guys just saw it on screen. And we're going to see probably Broodlords on this map, although he does have the option to go for those Ultralisks with the composition he's built right now. Here we go, finding a small Flash army here. The Marines were in 2 groups. And nice splitting by Flash, but he lost his tanks, and yeah, the Mutas will escape here. So
without the tank count, the problem that he's going to face, especially on creep, is that those Banelings will be really, really difficult to handle.
Banelings and Infestors.
The creep is spread up to extent where even the 4th base is being blocked, and now Flash, who does not know about the 4th base of Sniper, and he has no clue about the 5th that is being built right now. He needs to establish a 4th, he needs to do some damage, but it's going to be so hard for him to pull it off. Sniper might have too many drones right now, but he's confident that with the army that he has on the map, he can defend against anything that Flash sends his way. So he's just trying to go high eco now, get a huge bank, and then he will get rid of drones. He will buy a lot of spine crawlers and maybe some spore crawlers and just max out on army supply to make sure that he can face anything that Flash is building up now. And Flash is only on 3 bases. He does not have the economy to go crazy here.
No, he does not. He may get some Infestors here. Most of them escaping, actually. All of them escaping for now. Trying to hit some fungals to retreat, and Flash actually cannot pursue. Starting some Ultralisk is Sniper right now.
I like how Flash tries to get control of this game, how he's just roaming the map, killing creep tumors, making sure that he uses these scans. This is important for him to do, and he added some Thors as well so that he can defend a little bit better against the Mutalisks. And now we're in a position where these 90 drones are suddenly getting a liability.
Yep, and he's going to be careful. Oh, see, look at that Baneling shot there. Took out so many of those. Loses an Infestor as well. This push is getting stronger and stronger and scarier by the second here.
Yeah, Sniper has to be a little bit more careful. He might have overextended himself too much to his economy. He needs to get rid of a few of his drones.
Yeah, right now he needs to get rid of a few of these Marines. Here we go. Great Baneling hits there at the front. The Thor does remain alive. However, this hatchery is absolutely going to fall. There's no way he can save it.
The army supply is roughly the same. Flash actually in the advantage here. Suddenly there are the Fungals and too many of these Banelings connecting with the Thor, not with the Marines. He's moving in with the Ultralisks right now. The supply is plummeting down for both of these players. The better bank, of course, for Sniper, thanks to his drone count. He's going for +3/+3, but these are upgrades that Flash already has.
And Flash seeming to struggle a little bit with those Banelings, to not target the hatchery either, so the hatchery lives. All of his medevacs remain alive, so that's really important. He's got 14 of them out still, so he can really pump out more units using his minerals for that. Doesn't have to worry about his gas spinning right now. He's going to get this Infestor. But having those medevacs out is so important because it means that he's not going to have to rebuild those. Those are so much more expensive to rebuild than Marines or Marauders.
The lava count is decent for Sniper. He's in a position where he can rebuild his army. He is not that high on gas. 83 drones. He's definitely getting a little bit better now that he's started to build some spine crawlers. He can max out an army again. But suddenly the Terran player is ahead. The KT Terran now on 176 supply against 168. +3/+3. These upgrades are going to finish though for Sniper. I don't think he has Adrenal Glands, or does he? I haven't seen the upgrade. We can't check here, unfortunately.
I don't think so.
Maybe Legend hears us and gives us a quick look at the spawning pool. This would be awesome, but I don't think that he has the upgrade.
Yeah,
Legend. Spawning pool.
Salan mode, I think is what it is in Korean. I don't know.
I don't think he can hear us. Maybe
he can't. Yeah, maybe he can't hear us, but we are going to see this attack over here on the left side probably be deflected by the Infestor and the Spines. He's even got some Lings here as well.
No! He doesn't see it in time to use the Fungal. Those Marines are in a position where they can take down not the base, but at least those Zerglings and maybe even the Spine Crawler here. Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's not going to get the hatchery though. But with the Spine Crawlers gone, he can attack again from that same location a little bit easier. That hatchery very low on hit points from before. Greater Spire is on the way. He's making that switch. Look at all those medevacs floating here. So many of them available. And this is going to become a game perhaps of composition and engagement as there's both maxed, and we are just constantly seeing engagements one after another. But one big victory may swing the tides, because once you get a big victory in the 200-200 battle, that's when you can kill bases, you can just attack, you have that active moment on the map while you're punching on your max. Here we go, we may have that now, but I think it's going to be in Flash's favor if all of these Banelings are really back there like they are right now. The Ultra is going down so fast.
And the Ultralisk on the move right now. A lot of these tanks are already gone, and Sniper decides to cut his losses here and retreat once again. He has the bank to rebuild, but with the 4th base, Flash is in a, well, not in a great position, but at least he's now finally on the 4 bases and has a decent economy. And look, you're so right. Look at all these medivacs. It's actually insane. This guy has how many is this? 15 medivacs. Every single Marine is a personal medivac here.
You know, this is something that a lot of people have been talking about. The Kespa Terrans seem to make more medivacs than most other Terrans. You will occasionally see a player like Polt have this many medivacs floating around, but Kespa players consciously make more medivacs than other players. They want to have more out on the map. They want to have actually more army supply in healing and damage than most GSL players are these days. That's something I'd like to kind of sit down and talk to some of these players about, see if why that's the case, or if they're just used to it because they want to make medics in StarCraft 1. But medics and medivacs are completely different units. They play a somewhat similar role, but for the most part, they're not the same at all.
Yeah.
And here we go. He's going to get this hatchery, perhaps. I think he's going to save it.
Yeah, he's going to save it. This hatchery is not going to die. And this is a very, very high Ultralisk count. Only 4 Infestors. He could make use of a few additional ones. Both of them are nearly maxed out. The Terran player is still on 190. He has some supply freed up. And look at Sniper. He's actually building a base to the top left here.
Yeah. Getting a little bit...
a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say that, man.
I love the word.
I know you do. I was actually about to say it, and I was like, no. Oh, by the way, here's Adrenal Glands. You're right, you didn't get those earlier. +2 flyer attacks as well. Flash, you know, he's winning a lot of these battles defensively, but have you noticed he's stuck in the same location, sieged up with his tanks split, but eventually he's going to have to move forward. He's going to have to win some ground. He can't just sit back on this 4th base forever.
There's Adrenal Glands, by the way. A little bit late, but he gets it after all. But the thing is, this game could go either way. They are facing each other on eye level.
Yeah. He spots the base at the top left. Ultralisk running in here, and the Banelings again.
The Banelings on the way, but a little bit stuck, exactly. Yeah. Trying to get into position. The Siege Tank being fungal as well as the Marines. And here comes Sniper trying to break this defense. The Medivacs, of course, right now completely useless. There's the fungal. If he takes down the Medivacs, this would be so important. They're gas-heavy units, very gas-intense. Another fungal would be so good, but he doesn't get it. And the problem is, as soon as the Terran player has 3-3 upgrades and is relying this heavily on Marauders, the Medivac count is working so well in his favor. I don't think that Sniper should really engage this composition with Ultralisk anymore. Against Ultralisks, Marauders are so awesome, and with this many Medivacs to support them, I don't think he can break through here. He needs to go for the... I mean, he starts with the transition to Brood Lords, but he needs it a little bit faster.
Yeah, and look at this base at the top left. He's mining only gas there. Flash has taken his 5th command center finally, but he holds this really well. But that was kind of a little bit scary because there was basically nothing there at that time. This is a pretty big attack from Flash. This is the first aggressive move out he's made in quite some time. Those Medivacs you were talking about earlier that were low on hit points are fun here, and this time he's actually going to get rid of all of them.
And this is so important. These fungals are worth so much to him at this point. Most of the Medivacs gone right now. This was important. Don't underestimate the importance of these Medivacs killed, because now it's much easier to take down the Marauders, and he might not be able to break him with this attack, but this is definitely helping him quite a lot. And also he can't build Vikings now if suddenly Sniper transitions, but we might not even see this happening as suddenly those Ultralisks are way more effective against the composition that Flash uses here.
I'm a little surprised Flash is not keeping his units a little bit closer to the planetary. I've noticed in several of these engagements, the planetary could have been helping him out, but he was too far away from it for it to really fire. He doesn't have the high-sec auto-tracking for it either, so this is not going to be as useful of a defensive position as I think he wants to make it right now. And you notice his army gets smaller and smaller. Now he's missing the Medivacs. Now he's missing the siege tanks. And Sniper's still going strong with all these bases, and his composition is good. 7 more Infestors popping out here. And here we go. He's going to take out the last of these siege tanks. No, decides not to commit. I feel like he could have maybe done more here, but now he certainly cannot. Taking a lot of shots on the retreat. Loses a full energy Infestor.
He loses the base at the bottom right, and I have a problem with Sniper actually being so stuck on his Brood Lords, the Ultralisk that he built earlier. Just think about how awesome it was when he took down those Medivacs. What is the first reaction that Flash has after losing the Medivacs? He's like, oh god, I have to rebuild them, and I have to do it now. So all the production time in the starport is actually just dedicated to the Medivac production. If he switches at this point into Brood Lords and he already has Corruptors on the map, then Flash won't have any anti-air units.
Yeah, you're right, and oh no, these infestors, they get some pummels, but it's not enough to kill these units, and he loses so much. He's got the Corruptors out here a little bit vulnerable as well. If he stims and chases them, he'll get some, but he doesn't want to. He doesn't have that many medevacs out anymore, but the damage has been done, and right now, you know, it looked like Sniper was starting to get a firm hold on this game, but with a few more key gauges, losing more infestors here.
Sniper is just not thinking clearly right now.
He needs to switch.
He's completely caught up in the action of the game. He types GG, leaves.
I mean, there's more Marauders than Marines on the map for Flash.
Yeah, he has no anti-air. Sniper had everything that he needed for the transition. He did not take down the Great Aspire, did he? There was no drop or anything that we missed on the
As far as I know, man, I didn't see that.
Me neither.
I think that you're so right in that. I do not believe that was taken out. He just completely skipped out on making that switch.
I actually don't think he was just caught up completely in the game, and he did not realize that he had to switch. Apparently he did not really think clearly. You know exactly how it is when you go into this mode where you can't see anything left and right. You're just focusing on what is right in front of you, and it was, for us, it's obviously an obvious call because, well, we can see everything. We see the production for Flash, we can see what he has on the map right now, but for Sniper, being caught up in the moment, it's really hard to make this decision. He was already trying to do it, but then in the last moment he decided to go for the Ultralisks instead of the Brood Lords. It proved to be the wrong decision, and if he would have done it, he would have won the game because there was no anti-air, but he decided to go for the Ultralisks, and he could have worked, but Flash was just too strong and is now in the lead.
Yeah, Flash just playing a defensive game, and Sniper just did not kill him. Sniper had more mining. He was multitasking arguably better during certain aspects of that mid to late game, but well, that's how the cookie crumbles for the first game, and I'm curious to see what Flash is going to show us in game 2. He was able to 2-0 his first opponent that we cast, and he may do this again.
It was a game on eye level. It should have gone Sniper's way. He threw it a little bit away here. On the other hand, Flash played really well and just showed that he is definitely one of those players, one of those transitioning Brood War players that is in a position where he can take down GSL players, where he is definitely in a position where he can compete. He is already on a level where he can compete, and I can't wait to see this guy play in a few months.
Yep. I'll just look at him now, sitting down here. He doesn't look like...
he probably just walked over to Sniper and looked him in the eyes and like, you are going down.
Sniper's
intimidating him right away off the bat.
Well, Sniper's eyes looking down a little bit there.
Walking over to Sniper like, you sure you want to play the second game? You sure you don't want to forfeit?
He's like, well, my win should be worth 2 wins, but I guess I'll play the second game so that everybody who wants to follow these rules feels better. He's like, I can't believe I didn't even get a seed. He's like, that's really stupid. That's crazy.